Let's start with the curse, because there is a curse and it is not a metaphor. Since 2002, the defending World Cup champion has been eliminated in the group stage 66% of the time. Not in the quarterfinals, not in the semis, in the group stage, before the knockout rounds even begin. France won in 1998. They came back in 2002 as the favorites, with Zidane, with Henry, with arguably the best squad in the world. They did not score a single goal. They went home without winning a match. Italy won in 2006. They came back in 2010 and finished bottom of their group. Spain won in 2010, then won Euro 2012, and arrived at the 2014 World Cup as perhaps the most decorated team in football history. Their opening game was against the Netherlands. They lost 5-1. A loss to Chile 2 days later sent them home, the fastest elimination of a reigning champion in the tournament's history. Germany won in 2014 with a squad so complete they demolished the host nation 7-1 in the semifinal. 4 years later in Russia, they lost to Mexico, scraped past Sweden with a stoppage time free kick, then lost to South Korea with 2 goals in injury time and went home. Germany, 4-time world champions, bottom of their group. The pattern is so consistent that after France won in 2002, FIFA actually removed the automatic qualification rights for defending champions. They were so dominant that teams stopped being motivated to beat them. The curse is not actually a mystery. Once you understand the mechanics of it, it makes complete sense. And those same mechanics are what determine who wins. When a team wins a World Cup, something changes inside the squad. Not in the tactics, not in the fitness, in the psychology. The players who won 4 years ago are now veterans. They have nothing left to prove to themselves. The hunger that drove them through qualifiers, through group stages, through knockout rounds, that specific hunger is gone. They replaced it with something else. Pride, maybe. Reputation. The weight of being champions. And every opponent they face is running the opposite program. Beating the world champions is the ultimate motivation in football. Every team in the group stage prepares specifically to beat them, studies them, designs their entire game plan around one thing. Make them look ordinary. Meanwhile, the champions are trying to play the way they always play. Only now with older legs, more cautious minds, and the quiet terror of losing what they have. The 2014 Spanish squad had played the same style with many of the same players for 6 consecutive years. They had won everything, and the rest of the world had spent 6 years studying every single thing they did. By the time they walked onto that pitch in Brazil, their style wasn't a weapon anymore. It was a manual their opponents had already memorized. Germany in 2018 made the same mistake. They trusted the same aging core that had won in Brazil. They walked in expecting the tournament to bend around them, and South Korea, a team with nothing to lose and everything to prove, sent them home. This is the thing nobody tells you about winning. So if the favorites almost never win and the defending champions almost always fall, who does win? Here is what the data actually shows. The World Cup has been won 22 times. In 17 of those 22 tournaments, the winner was a team that was dangerous but not the outright pre-tournament favorite. A team with the talent to compete at the highest level but still carrying a specific kind of hunger. Not the hunger of an underdog trying to survive, the hunger of a team that believes it is ready but hasn't proven it yet. Brazil in 2002. They hadn't won since 1994. 8 years of near misses and quarter-final exits. Ronaldo came back from a mysterious collapse before the 1998 final, spent 4 years rebuilding, and arrived in Japan with something to settle. They won every single match. They looked like a different species. Italy in 2006. They arrived under a cloud of corruption scandal back home. Half the country wanted them to fail. The squad had no expectation, only desperation. They won on penalties in the final. France in 2018. A young squad. Mbappe was 19. Most of them had never been to a World Cup final before. They had talent without arrogance, hunger without history getting in the way. They were not the favorites. Germany was, Brazil was, they won. The profile that keeps appearing in the data is not the most talented squad. It is the most motivated one, at the right moment in their cycle. Now look at 2026 through that lens. Spain are the favorites. Lamine Yamal is 18 years old and already one of the most exciting players on the planet. Rodri, the Ballon d'Or winner, anchors the midfield. They won Euro 2024. They won Olympic gold in Paris. They have not lost a major tournament since 2021. They are extraordinary. They are also the team everyone is preparing to beat. Every coach in this tournament has watched Spain's last 30 games. Every defensive structure has been designed with Yamal and Nico Williams in mind. The most dangerous thing about Spain right now is also the most predictable thing about them. You know exactly how they want to play. France are different. Mbappe is 26. He won the World Cup at 19. He reached the final at 23. This tournament is the one where he has to win again or begin to be defined by what he almost achieved. That is a different kind of pressure. The pressure of a man with unfinished business, not the pressure of a champion trying to hold on. Brazil haven't won since 2002, 24 years. In that time, they have been knocked out in the quarterfinals, the semifinal, and once they lost 7-1 at home, a result so catastrophic that Brazilian television did not replay it for a decade. Vinicius Jr. is 25. Endrick is 19. This might be the most talented Brazilian attacking lineup since Ronaldo. And, unlike Spain, nobody has a complete blueprint for stopping them yet. And then there is Argentina. Messi is 38. This is his last tournament. He has already won everything. The curse says they go out early. The history says the squad is too old, too celebrated, too satisfied. But Messi has spent his entire career refusing to follow the script. Here's what the pattern tells us. The team that wins the 2026 World Cup will probably not be the team you expect right now. It will be a team with genuine world-class talent, but without the weight of being the obvious favorite. It will be a team at the peak of its hunger cycle, not a veteran squad defending what it already has, and not an inexperienced squad not yet ready. France fits that profile more precisely than anyone else in this tournament. They have the talent. They have Mbappe with something left to prove. They have a squad young enough to still be hungry and experienced enough to win under pressure. But here's the part that matters most. None of this is certain. It never is. That is not a weakness in the analysis. It is the point. The World Cup does not care about your predictions. It does not care about the odds or the squad depth reports or the tactical breakdowns. It cares about 90 minutes, 11 players, and whether on that specific day, in that specific match, one team wanted it more than the other. That is what has always made it extraordinary. That is what makes a 19-year-old Mbappe run through an entire defense in a World Cup final. That is what makes a 38-year-old Messi lift a trophy he spent his whole life chasing. That is what made Germany, four-time world champions, lose to South Korea and go home. The data gives you the probabilities. The game ignores them entirely. 48 teams walked into this tournament today. One of them will lift that trophy on July 19th in New Jersey. And right now, in some training ground somewhere in North America, the players who will actually do it are warming up, completely unbothered by what the experts think. The question is never who should win. It is always who wants it enough when it counts. And we are about to find out. Like and subscribe for more football education videos.